Here are the mountains of western Nevada. We are just north of Reno, and we are at the place of the oldest and the most legal whorehouse in America. This is the Mustang Ranch. You may have read that it went into receivership not long ago, but that only lasted a short time. They're back in business now. As many as 30 women work in here, and this is how it works. The customer approaches the gate, rings the bell thusly. I assume this means I can open the door, yes. If I look a little tentative here, it's because this is not something I've done before.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Just some of our ladies will introduce themselves.
And this is how it would be for a customer who comes in here?
Right.
You haven't set this up for us?
Nope.
So these young women then, who are not busy, array themselves in the lobby of the ranch.
Right.
Very good. Now what transpires as the customer walks in?
The girl introduces themselves.
I see.
Hello, I'm Chanel.
I'm Pam.
I'm Sherry.
Jane.
Holly.
Erica.
Paula.
Paul, very good.
Lady?
Well, do I have a moment, or...
You can take you in much time as you like.
I see. So, after I pick a young woman, do we retire to a couch somewhere to negotiate, or, I mean, a certain amount of business has to be transacted here.
Right. That's all negotiated in the room and discussed in the room.
we retire to the room before we
Right.
negotiate. I
Right.
see. All right, by prearrangement, I ask you to believe. Would you kindly step forward? You're Jane. Hi. You've been working here for...
A while.
And you probably don't want to tell me how old you are. That's certainly not obliged.
Correct.
Now, you reside here at the ranch, or
Yes,
most
I
of the
do.
women do. I see. And so for a certain fee to the owner, you have a domicile as well as a place to work, and they're all in the same location.
Correct.
I see. And then you would retire to the room for the purpose of determining the service and the fee.
Exactly.
I see. Now, in a moment, you're going to show me your room.
Exactly.
Okay. Let me just take a moment to talk to some of these young women before we retire for the evening. Why don't you step back there in your place, because I may want to talk to you, too. Well, it's a living. Is that how you want me to understand what you do, huh? You're not concerned about diseases or some geek coming in here and hurting you? Please talk to me about this, huh?
Not at all.
When you get in that room, how safe can you be?
We're very safe in here. It's better than being out on the street and, you know, not having any protection.
And how often does the doctor come?
Once a week.
And that's for chlamydia, gonorrhea, whole business, huh?
Yes.
And there's a specific... do you surrender blood every time he comes in?
Exactly.
And is there a regular AIDS test?
Yes.
There is. Now, I'm not going to pass judgment here. I just want your feelings on this. This is terrible what you do. It's immoral, and you got to be ashamed. You don't want your daughters to do this. Come on.
There's nothing to be ashamed of. You know, you're doing something, actually you're doing a service for men out there that might want to go hurt somebody or do, you know, take a fantasy out on somebody else,
Right.
or, you know, there's nothing to be ashamed of.
What if the guy's a little tipsy when he comes in?
We have our choice if we take them or not.
How about the ego when you're not chosen? That's got to hurt a little bit.
No. No.
Not any more than an actress who doesn't get the part.
We're not in
Huh?
Every man has their own specific taste. A guy could come in here and say, I want a blonde with, you know, or the next guy might come in and say, I want a brunette, you know.
I noticed one young black woman among you. I assume you're not alone here. You're not token, are you?
No, not at all.
And so about 30 women work here. About how many women would be of color, as we might say?
Quite a few, maybe about 7, 8.
I see. And do you like the customers? They're nice people.
Very nice.
And you got into the business, I'll bet you, when you were a teenager, huh?
No.
Huh?
Not quite, no.
Who said yes?
Yes, I have.
You had to feel awful that first time. Come on.
It's something I've always wanted to do.
Oh, come on. Who's the one that showered and for 2 hours and used a whole bar of soap?
Me.
Yeah.
That was the truth. I did. The first time is difficult, but after you get over that, I mean, here we practice safe sex. We use condoms for all sexual activities. So, you know, everything is safe, and I always advocate to my customers to use condoms outside of here.
I understand there is one thing you won't do. and I know what it is. Huh? You will not kiss a customer. Huh?
That's right.
What is it?
Bingo, babe.
What does that mean?
It means no, we won't.
Because
Something personal that you do with...
a kiss is a loving expression of affection to a person you really care about.
Right, and this is not a loving, I mean, this is not, you don't just try to, I don't know.
Involved with kissing.
You don't know what's is in someone's mouth. You know, you'd have to look.
You think
I think it's too intimate.
the other activity isn't intimate, but kissing is.
Well, we can defocus. You have to be a strong-minded person to be able to do this.
All right. You save that for the person about whom you care.
Correct.
Right. Is how many of you are married? And he doesn't care? He'd rather you didn't.
Right.
But he's looking the other way.
Right.
I bet he doesn't come here.
No.
Well, they're going to ask you, we have an audience here, and we're live in Reno as we appear today across the whole area of the desert here. And they're going to want to know what you make and all those other things, and you'll make your own judgments on what you want to answer. There's no constitutional obligation to answer anybody's question. Jane, would you kindly escort me then to the place
Yes.
where you...
Way, darling.
Yes, thank you. How many rooms about in here, Jane?
About 48.
48, and business has been good?
Fair.
Oh, I see. So
Very fair.
So it's been slow then, is what you want to say, is it?
No, I just don't want to comment on how it...
So it's like any business, sometimes good, sometimes not so good. Let me get it. Now, this is where you reside, and this
Yes, it is. Please have a seat if we're going to negotiate.
This is how you would, huh?
Yes.
I see.
I asked him to have a seat.
Uh-huh.
We will negotiate. And we have 1,000 different parties, 1,000 different prices, 1,000 different time limits. So it all depends on what the client would like.
I see. Do I understand that some of the young women here who work here start at like $400 and then work down?
Well, on television, I will not discuss prices.
Okay.
I will discuss that privately with a client, but we do have price minimums and limits.
May we have the price limit? What's minimum? In other words, are you...
Well, it's like what type of party are you asking for?
I see. So
Like I said,
$400 is
it's
a little
1,000
misleading. Not everybody who comes here has to spend $400.
Correct.
I see. Very
We
well.
have other parties.
So it's a good life, and you're nice and healthy, and the doctor told you so, and you've got a paper to prove it.
Exactly.
Well, we'll be back to let the citizens of this area who have various feelings about the Mustang Ranch, I say again, a legal brothel. All but 2 counties in Nevada allow whorehouses. And with the license goes a certain amount of responsibility, and we'll talk about that as well. And then again, I say, not everybody in the state of Nevada is crazy about this idea. But we are talking about the world's oldest profession and the world's oldest controversy. Should it or should it not be legalized? And we'll be back in just a moment. We are live from the parlor of the Mustang Ranch in just outside of Reno. Joe Conforte joins us along with 3 of the young women who work here. Chanel joins us. Chanel, you're age 22. You started as a prostitute in Minnesota. You say here before you were 18 years old. Your mother was a hooker, is that so?
That's correct.
Pam is also here. It says here, Pam, you got into this game real young, when your boyfriend turned out to be a pimp. You'd rather be a prostitute than a maid, it says here, Pam. Is that so?
Yes.
Money's good?
Yes.
Erica is 25. Was married, but you ended your marriage when your husband turned out to be unfaithful. Do I have it right?
That's correct.
I see. Did he know the work you were in?
Yeah. Yes, he did.
He might
think you're unfaithful for doing this work.
Well, I think you should have understood it was business, and
I mean, I never just did it for fun. I did it for money.
Okay. Joe Montana, his real name. This will thrill the quarterback. Joe, you frequent the ranch several times a week. You spend as much as $500 a week here, huh?
Yes, sir.
And Harry sits next to you. You likewise use the ranch services several times weekly. All right, here are the town folk. We did not give you a test before we let you in here about where your head is on this issue, but what do you think? Is this good for Storey County here in Nevada? Is it bringing a little tax revenue? Does it bother you?
I think it's good for business. I mean, I think it's good for the county. Joe Conforte is a very generous man.
Anybody else? Any dissenters here? I assume, of course, this is the first time you've ever been in a whorehouse. For most of you, I mean, yeah.
I'm a dissenter, but I'm here to help. I'm pray for the girls. I'm Reverend Bob, chaplain at the jail. And I counsel with the girls, with the pimps, and with the victims.
Well,
Well, we all have our ministry. Joe, you were in bankruptcy here for a while, and then the brother of your attorney
actually wound up as the man who bought the place after it was placed in receivership. I think it's fair to say that the government
got some bad publicity here. It appeared as though the United States government was running this place.
They tried.
Yeah, and you want people to know that you don't just walk in and preside over a business like this. It takes years to learn, huh?
Yes, it's not just like any other business. I think that if they would have succeeded in starting it and running it, at least 80% of the money would have been stolen to begin with. And many other problems, but they would take too long for me to explain them to you.
What do you say, Chanel, to those who suggest that
This is just not the kind of work that young women should be doing. Yeah, it's a bad thing to do. This is not a good job. You shouldn't do
Why
this.
isn't it a good job?
Oh, you should work at Burger King or something.
Well, this job has been very good to me personally. I wouldn't, tell my younger sister to do it because it is a hard life. But people that are already in it, I've met very nice people through prostitution, and it's led, helped me through school, and,
Here you are, healthy and safe.
And a roof over your head.
Hi. I think prostitution is going to happen anyway, so it might as well happen here where we assume that you're safer and better taken care of. And I was wondering, did all of the ladies start on the street? And if you did, how would you compare your experiences there to here?
Want to talk about that, Anybody?
Well,
Go ahead.
I've worked on the streets before. Here, you're more, for one thing, you get checked by the doctor. You're more safer because no one's not going to harm you here. And you don't have to worry about going to jail or getting a lot of cases or anything of that nature.
Yes, we're back here, friends.
Oh, yeah, Joe, I need some extra money. How about an 83-year-old woman getting a job?
Joe, is there an age limit?
For her, I'll find a job doing something.
Joe, tell us what you say here. You visit the ranch several times weekly. Is that right?
Young women, this is a familiar face, is he? Joe?
Yes.
Yeah, because you're not a married man?
No.
And you do this because?
I like to come out here. The atmosphere is comfortable. The girls are safe, and they're pretty. So,
I assume Harry'd say the same thing?
Yeah, that's what Pam was saying. She feels safer. So do I as a customer. I feel completely safe coming here.
Joe, do I understand you'd like to bring this legal idea to California?
Next year.
You're going to try and move the Citizens California to approve legalized prostitution?
I am very confident that it will pass.
Can you hear me, caller? Caller, can you hear me?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, I would like to say I support Joe Conforte with everything that he's done for the poor at holidays and the turkeys and everything he's done.
What is about the turkeys?
At Christmas time and at Thanksgiving, he gets thousands of turkeys and gives them out to the poor.
And he's also going to provide free one-day gift certificate to the troops who return from the Persian Gulf.
Hi. I'd like to ask the young lady in the blue. You mentioned that education, that you had some education. Are your future plans to get into something that's, I don't want to say respectable, but you know what that's more approved of by people?
Right. I'm doing continuing education as being a cosmetologist. I'm a licensed cosmetologist, and that's what I do.
I have a question for Mr. Conforte. I heard that there were maybe at one time going to be males here. Is that true? And if so, when?
We had planned to do that. The IRS put out a detour with all that's happened the last 6 months, but the idea is not forgotten.
And we'll be back in just a moment. Hi, is there a caller there? Go ahead. Are you there, caller?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yes, I'd just like to say that I think these girls are great. They look great. And if these women around here are so worried about their husbands going there, maybe they should try being better wives.
Right on.
I think there are good wives. So
I'm curious to know how many, I don't know, runs do you do a night? I don't know what to call it. Tricks.
Well, first of all, I don't like calling a customer a trick because, number one, there's no trick to it. We negotiate the price, and he knows what he's getting for that price, so I don't, like the word trick. They're customers, they're clients, and that's not a good word to use for them.
Yes,
I don't think.
Yes, there's a rumor. I live in Reno that the taxi drivers get a kickback from bringing customers out. We know this is a tourist community, bringing customers out here. I was wondering if that's true. They get a kickback, and do
Yes,
the girls have to pay for it, or do you pay for it, Joe?
No, nobody pays for it.
But you're
the
saying
customer
money
pays
does
for
it
it.
come
The
out?
customer pays for it.
I'm not sure they heard you, Joe. There is a kickback for the taxi.
But the customer pays for it. They get a small percentage, but a small percentage is added on to the customer, and that happens in every trade, not just in this one.
Yes.
Excuse me, I would like to direct this to Pam. I wanted to ask you, Pam, do you have much of a social life outside of your job? And if you do, how does that person feel about your job itself?
Well, I do have a social life. Right now, I go to school. I work here. I go to school in between working here. And as far as partying and stuff, I really don't have time for that. I do have a friend that I see, but he doesn't live in this state. So when we see one another, it's like...
Thank you for waiting, caller. Go ahead, caller.
I just want to say that what the girls are doing is their choice, and I think that it's a lot better that them be in a place like that they're taken care of financially and medically than some of the girls that you see out on the streets who have no one to protect them and no medical aid at all. So I commend the girls totally.
And have no misgiving about this in the state. We should let me remind our viewers, Joe, you'll watch me on this now, make sure I get this right. All but 2 of Nevada's counties have legalized prostitution. All but 5? All right, the 5 that included in the 5 that do not permit legalized prostitution are those counties in which are located the cities of Las Vegas, Reno, and Carson City. Yes.
I'd like to know, do your fathers and brothers know what business you're in, and if they do they approve?
They know now.
Do any of the girls that work here have any children?
Any kids? Erica, you have a child?
Yes, I have a 21-month-old who I love very much, and I'd like to wish him happy Valentine's Day, and also to my significant other. He knows who he is. And yeah, a lot of us have regular lives and kids. That's why we're working here.
Yeah.
I wanted
to ask the girls, how many days a week do you work?
7 days a week.
7? But you don't you
Well,
get...
like I'll be here for 2 weeks and I'll work that, 2 weeks straight and then go on vacation.
Are you there, caller? Let me try one again. We're getting go ahead, caller.
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, I think it's wonderful that they're out there. I mean, if they weren't out there, they'd be on the street with drugs and things. And now, Joe takes very good care of all the girls. And why not Nevada? I mean, I think we take a stand by doing that. And everyone always criticizes us for having our whorehouses and our showgirls. And I think it's wonderful. I've lived here forever. And my father was a cab driver. It's great.
You got a losing proposition.
There's so many wackos running around that you say that you're safe here, but do they do a weapons search when customers come to the door?
Yes.
And they check for drugs and obvious drunks don't get in?
Yes, our rooms are monitored, so if anyone has drugs, we get them right out of the room. And that's not condoned here at all.
How do you interview for jobs here? How do you go through the whole process overall?
Well, first you call and they'll set up an appointment with you, and then you come in and you speak with the manager, and then they ask you a few questions like if you ever worked here before, if you've ever done this kind of work at all. And if they need you, I guess, you call back within a week. You have to go to the doctor and get checked. You have to make sure that all of your medical is taken care of before you ever start here.
Yes.
I was wondering how you prevent yourself from getting emotionally involved with your clients. You mentioned that you don't kiss them on the lips. What else
Some
do you do?
some don't.
Yeah.
A couple of them did with me.
Couple did with you, did they, Harry?
I married both of them.
You did. Let me try another caller here. Are you there? I'm glad you waited, caller. Go ahead. Go ahead, caller. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. We've got probably one bad line here. Hey, let's try another line. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I was wondering the percentage that the girls get and you get, Joe.
Well, I don't get the house kids. They get 50%. It's split half and half, but you have to keep this in mind. You might think that's a lot of money for the house, but remember this, the payroll alone, not the girls, the auxiliary payroll. It's $1 million a year. Somebody has to pay that.
And do I understand you're one of the top 10 revenue producers for the county in Storey County?
I think we're the biggest producer. I think we cover about 10% of the general budget of the county. When you include the licensing, the real estate, and getting work cards, when you include everything, it's pretty close to 10% of the general budget of the county.
And I assume you think that this is an idea that will sooner or later arrive in other states as well.
Well, Phil, look, you can talk for hours and hours and years. Yeah. It really comes down to a very small bottom line. You cannot eliminate it. It's never been eliminated. So you don't have that choice. Which choice do you want it? Like this, or out in the street where there's drugs, epidemics, beatings, murders? That's the only choice you have.
Yeah. I was just wondering if most of your customers are locals or out-of-towners.
50-50.
Half locals, half out of town. Yeah. And you actually stand up when they walk in?
Every time. Yes.
Yeah. That doesn't make you feel a little bit self-conscious?
No, we get used to it. The first few days I started working, which was years ago, I was very embarrassed to walk around. But I went to a club the other night, and I thought, college girls at clubs, they're wearing pretty much what we wear here.
You mean the Madonna look is out on the street anyway, so...
Yeah.
As a customer, you kind of feel like when you walk in and you see 30 to 40 women...
You don't want to hurt 39 of them.
Yeah,
yeah, I know.
You feel like a little kid in a candy store with a nickel in his pocket. Which one do I want?
Yeah. But you get over that, too, I assume. So.
Yeah. Well, you go to the bar and maybe have a drink, and the girls come over. They make you feel really at ease here.
Right. Well, you're a great commercial for this place, Harry. Right, we'll give you all a chance here. We're at the Mustang Ranch outside Reno in Nevada, and it's legal, and we'll be back in just a moment.
I hope I don't knock your elbow.
I want to try these phones again. Are you there, caller? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Good. Ooh. Yeah. What do you think here?
Okay, yeah, I'm only 16.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if I could, if I was accompanied by adults, if I'd be able to get a babe.
Joe.
Yeah, if it was up to me, as soon as you're 14, you could come here.
Yeah.
But the law says you got to be 18, so get a fake ID.
Let me try and...
Whoa, son.
Joe, they're going to pull your license again. Please let me try and get some of these calls done because we do have a jammed up phone system. Hi, are you there, caller? Are you there, caller? No, you're not. All right, we're trying to make this work. Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to know if, of all the women who work here, if most of their families know, or do they keep most of a secret? And the one in the black, if you worked when you were pregnant.
If I what work?
Did you work when you were pregnant?
No, I didn't. I didn't work when I was pregnant, and it's well, my family's going to find out today that I work here, and it's really sticky because my dad's in law enforcement. And
Erica, give us just please give us just the evolution of this. How does a young woman, how did a nice girl like you look up to find yourself a hooker?
Well, I'm a dental assistant. I can't have a job, but without living with my husband, and I'd like to get a house and accomplish things, and I can make way more money than I do with the dental assistant.
But what happens to a young woman? What happened? What was the first time for you? Just some of the, were you a teenager and?
You mean the first time sex or working?
The first time you got paid for sex.
Well, I met someone in a club who was older than me, and it was just such a large amount of money. I mean, I couldn't say no.
And was it difficult? Does it?
Yeah, the first time it was. Mm-hmm.
And did you feel dirty?
I don't really remember. I just, it was difficult.
And this is a cash deal, and you said?
Yeah.
And then one.
I wanted to buy clothes, so I said,
one
yeah.
trick led to another. And,
yeah.
Anybody else with? Yes.
All of my family knows. My mother used to be a prostitute. So I knew about prostitution from a very young age. So, and it was kind of glamorized to me, but it's, my first date, I'm the one that, scrubbed himself because I felt real dirty, just because it was the first time I got paid for it, but now,
Now you don't feel that way?
No.
Are you there, caller? Go ahead, caller. Caller?
Hello.
Go ahead.
Hi, I just want to say that I think the brothels are part of Nevada's history. I've lived here for the past 11 years, and I would certainly hope that my husband wouldn't visit one, but I think they're here to stay.
Yeah. Is there no one in Nevada against this?
What?
We know you are, Reverend. I'm looking for someone else here. Yes. Well, they're going to be upset with us. They're going to think we just set this up to make it look like everybody. And we're trying to give you the whole picture. Yes.
Hi, I'm newly relocated here, but I find prostitution very anti-family, and I'd just like to know, how would you feel if your husband or your significant other utilized such services?
Well, I think if I was married, I would rather prefer my husband to come here than to go pick a girl up downtown or on the streets or in a bar. Because at least I know he's not going to bring anything home to me.
If he's going to do it, he's going to do it anyway.
How about with you, though? Don't you want him to be with you?
No, really. If he's going to do it, he's going to do it anyway. It's better to do it here.
Is there something to use condoms? Let's be realistic. Whether people men are married or not, they're going to visit here, and
they're
going to
visit
other
women. And this is not a relationship.
You know?
This is just a service. It's not like we fall in love with them. But me, I mean,
just a service.
Yeah, I know. I want the white picket fence too. I do.
Yeah. Now, being the only legal state, is there a lot of resumes that come in from around the country?
Joe.
Resumes?
Yeah, from other women. From other people who want to work here.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of desires. And is that what you're talking about? Different desires?
People looking for work, Joe. This is the only place where it's legal.
Yeah, continuously.
Over here.
Continuously.
It's so nice to see you, Joe. Joe.
I never thought I'd meet you in a whorehouse, but I'm pleased.
Joe, I moved here from New York 11 years ago.
Yes,
and then a friend here said that you only hired beautiful college girls. Was that so then?
No, that's not true.
No?
We'd hire you if you apply for a job. No, that's not true. We hire, first of all, I don't do the hiring. The manager does. But we hire anybody. Anybody that's pretty and non-pretty and knows what to do.
Yes.
This is for Joe. I think most of the people in Reno think he's done a wonderful job.
That's
You're the most liberal audience we've ever had in our lives here. I am shocked at you.
Yeah, I'm a gambler, and I think prostitutes and gamblers get a pretty bad rap. And I think these girls have a lot of courage for being honest about it and not trying to hide it. So that's all I got to say.
Yeah, Harry.
There's something that, I'm probably going to make a few women mad here, but this is, everybody talks bad about prostitution. What about, there's probably not a woman in the world that hasn't used sex to get something they want at one time or another. So what's the difference between them and a prostitute?
And we'll be back in just a moment.
Nothing tantalizes the taste buds more than piping hot charbroiled beef or the savor of fresh steamed shrimp, chilled to perfection. Whatever your meats desire, we've got it at Stop, Shop, and Save. This week, save on Green Spring fruit drinks. Gallon jug, 99 cents. RC Cola, Diet Right, and Squirt, 2-liter bottles, 79 cents each. Ivory Soap, 4-bar package, 99 cents.
Now more than ever, it's time for you to Stop, Shop, and Save.
A medical mistake may have caused your child's cerebral palsy or brain damage. Find out free. Call the tough, smart lawyers of the Spectre Legal Team, 385-2100. If your child has lead poisoning or was injured in an auto accident, call the Spectre Legal Team, 385-2100. We've helped hundreds of accident victims collect millions of dollars. Find out about all the cash and benefits you and your child may have coming. The Spectre Legal Team, 385-2100. 385-2100.
Darling, I can tell you what to wear to catch a man, but what to wear to outrun one, I don't know where to begin. But I know someone who does.
The Sports Authority, featuring Adidas men's activewear and men's footwear, plus a big selection of JanSport, day packs, fanny packs, and book packs.
Trust me, darling, it will be love at first sight.
The Sports Authority. You've never seen anything quite like it.
Morning to you, I'm Horace Holmes, and coming up today on News Channel 2 at noon, it's Tuesday, and it's time for Out to Lunch. The Silver Diner will be here. It's the latest restaurant to open in the new Townsend Town Center. We'll have the latest on the Duchess of York. After burying her breasts, the British public wants her stripped of her title. Join us today for these stories, plus Ken's 5-day forecast, all at noon.
If you joined us late, we're at the Mustang Ranch outside Reno, a legal brothel. And this happens to be the bar. Here's the parlor, where a lot of folks have gathered here to talk about the world's oldest profession. Joe Conforte joins us, along with 3 of the women who work here. We are told there are 30 women who work here full-time. And yes, many of them reside here and work here, pay a certain fee for the rent, for the use of the room as a home, and half the income goes to the house. Yes, they are checked regularly by physicians. They do surrender blood, and the check includes a review to ensure that these young women are not infected with anything, from gonorrhea, chlamydia, to AIDS. Yes.
I just wanted to say that I represent one of the people who do not agree with prostitution, and I feel that I feel that it's degrading to women as a whole. That it's something that is,
Now, as you know, I don't mean to suggest you don't know this, but it's complicated in either event. Those who support legalized prostitution say, first of all, why spend all kinds of public money to have cops chasing hookers when the kids are shooting up? We got too many problems. Cops are overworked as it is. Not only that, when you make prostitution illegal, you promote an underworld of pimps and other people who either exploit the girls or in many, many ways hurt them. And at least this kind of facility cuts through the pretense. We accept the reality of this activity, which has been with us all the time, forever and ever, always will be, and at least make it safe.
Well, the inevitability of something does not make it right. I don't feel that it makes it a good thing to do, and I don't feel that it's good for women.
Yeah, hang on one second. Caller, go ahead. I want to try this one more time. You agree with this person? Yeah, well, tell me.
I'm concerned because I travel a lot, and it makes a laughing stock out of Nevada, because people always make jokes about it was having legalized prostitution. And to me, you're not going to take it off the street just because you put it in here. And it really concerns me. We're up against serious political issues in this state, and we're not being taken seriously, I don't feel.
Phil, can I say something?
Yes, briefly.
There's a lot of lonely guys out here, and when they come here, when they come to Mustang, these girls really make them feel at home.
Right. I assume, let me just see. You're Joe.
Yeah.
Joe, I assume also that, do I understand you to believe that this saves, it's better than standing around a singles bar where you may be there 3 or 4 hours wasting a lot of time?
Sure.
Maybe hitting on women who don't like it?
You're going to pay for it one way or the other.
Yeah. Is the caller there? I'm glad you waited, caller. Go ahead. Caller? Can you hear me, caller?
Hello? Yes, can you hear me?
Go ahead, please. Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
I'd just like to say that I think that it's an absolute disgrace. It degrades women, and as far as the residents of Reno saying that it's okay, that is totally ridiculous. What about our children and our family values?
What about our children?
You want to talk to him?
We have children.
I'd just like to say that contrary to popular belief, all Reno and Sparks men do not visit Mustang Ranch. It's accepted, but there are family members, and they
Not that you know about.
with values and morals.
Thank you.
Well,
everyone does.
I would like to say that just because she is a hooker, that is not degrading to me.
Right. It's my choice.
I have a question for Joe Montana. You say that you rather come out here to find your affections. Well, can't you find a nice girl in town that you don't have to have sex with? I mean, does sex constitute a relationship? Can't you find somebody that you can have a real good time with? I've seen you in your profession, and you're quite the talker. And you can talk just about anybody and anything. And I would think that you could find a really nice girl, because you're not bad looking. You could find a really nice girl somewhere.
Yeah, but everybody's not that good looking. What about the guy?
I want to answer real fast. Who would take care of that person down there if it wasn't for houses like this? That person in the wheelchair.
You talk about the person
man in the wheelchair.
who's in our audience in a wheelchair. Your point is what? That this provides public tax money, which accommodates you accommodate this.
Yes.
You accommodate physically challenged customers here.
Exactly.
That's how we want.
Where else would he get this pleasure?
Hang on just a minute.
Well, I support the women in this business, but I think they ought to own the corporation.
Well,
I'd like to make a comment because it seems like you girls spend a lot of time out here, and I've had the opportunity to take a tour of the ranch about a year ago, and I was shocked at the rooms. And maybe I've been watching too much TV, but I thought you'd have wallpaper on the walls and nice little bedspread and little pictures, and it was just like a room with a sheet on the bed. And
well, you can make the room however way you like the room. The room comes like that. The room just comes with a bed, mirror, sink. The room, you fix the room up the way that you would like it to be.
Some rooms are beautiful.
Phil, can I go back to the
Sure, go ahead.
women being degraded? First of all, like the lady said, because we do this, it's not degrading you. It is our individual choice. Okay, I don't feel like a slut. I don't feel like anything. This is a business transaction, and that's the way it's carried out.
Yes, Reverend, I'm going to give you one more shot here. I don't want the Lord to be accusing me of not...
Thank you, Phil. I appreciate that. I just got one quick thing to say.
Preach to the choir.
I just got one quick thing to say. Joe, a while ago, said that he would let a 14-year-old in. He's also let underage prostitutes come in here, too. Just because it's legal, it don't make it right. You can legalize drugs or murder. That don't make it right.
That is impossible.
No, that's not true.
Yeah. Joe, you're saying no. Yes, yes, ma'am, you'll stand.
Yeah, but that's impossible because they got to
Because we have to have a work card. So how could that even
That's
be?
impossible.
You have to get fingerprinted. Yeah, you got to get fingerprinted. It costs $50.
Hi. My question is directed to the girls. When you first come to work here, do you sign a lease or a contract, and how long is it?
Well, we're all our own independent contractors, and you do sign a contract, but that's just stating that you're paying your room and your board, and that you won't have any drugs like that.
And we'll be back in just a moment. Let me see if the phones are working. Is the caller there? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Hello?
Go, yeah.
Hi, Phil. I'm a local caller from Reno area.
Yeah.
And
Let's go. I'm almost out of time. Let's go.
Okay, I have nothing against the ladies. I do have something against prostitution, though. I back Brother Bob up 100%. And I think what Brother Bob Schwartz is doing is awesome because he has a heart for the people and a heart for God, and he has a heart for souls.
He thanks you very much for calling. Let me just try and get another call on here. Are you there, caller? Go ahead. Are you there, caller? Boy, this is pulling teeth.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, please.
I just want to say I think these women are sick and disgusting. Don't they have any morals? Don't they have any self-respect?
You want to talk to her?
I'm sure I have self-respect for myself. Just because I'm a prostitute doesn't mean that I don't have any morals. This is just the life that I chose
It's
to
like
lead.
if someone offered to pay us extra to take off a condom, we don't do that. We want things out of life, and this is a good way to go about it for us.
No condom?
Financially.
No condom, no
No
business.
service, right. No service.
No condom, no service. Go ahead, caller. I think there's another caller online. Are you there?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, please. Go ahead, please.
Hi. I'm a resident of Reno, Nevada, and I'm against it. I think we live in a farce of the society where it's against the law for kids to skateboard. We don't even have a zoo, but we have legalized prostitution and legalized gambling.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, regardless of the money that you guys make, you're still letting yourselves be used by men, and I don't really understand that. You have a profession. When are you going to do hair? Are you guys going to do this forever? When are you going to get a real job?
Of course not.
Well, this is a real job.
We have plans. I've saved my money in the bank, and I'm buying a house this summer.
Yeah,
and I'm
just
only 25, and as much as houses are
Hi, I
nowadays.
work here, and I'm
Just a moment. Let this young woman make her point, please.
Hi, I work here also, and I want you to know my family does know. My grandma is very supportive of me, and about the under 18, it's not true. We have to have an ID, we get fingerprinted, and we have to go through the sheriff's office to work here. So no, we cannot be underaged.
Men don't use us, we use men. They're our bread and butter. You guys are sending us to school and buying us new cars and condos. So, you know, giving away for free is being used, but you guys pay for it.
You
know,
work
you're not
here,
getting
then.
anything
I don't
for
think
free.
you make that
Yeah, I
clear.
work here too.
All right. Yes. Yes.
I'd like to know what Joe pays for a business license for a year, and if that reflected on his reopening.
What we pay now?
Yeah.
We pay $35,000 for each place. So altogether, there's three places we pay $105,000.
Yes. Yeah, hold on a moment. I have Shirley Coletti. Do I pronounce your name correct?
exactly.
You are a member of the Storey County Board of Commissioners, so?
That's right.
And it's a three-member board.
That's correct.
And the board had to approve the resale of the facility to the brother of Joe Conforte's lawyer. How am I doing?
You're doing fine.
And you voted 2-1 with you voting yay. Yes.
That's correct.
Tell us why.
Well, the reason for it, as you've seen before, by the response that you've had, most of the response you've had, is what I determined my decision on. And based on the people of Storey County, most of the constituents wanted the brothels back. And it's your right, it does bring revenue to Storey County. But as far as the license, no, it had nothing to do with it whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. So you have no compulsion at all about the fact that it's legal? You think it's a good idea and it promotes revenue for the county?
I'm not against prostitution nor the brothels.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
I think it's really difficult to find people in here against Mr. Conforte because he's given so much back to our community, our schools, the council. He's done a lot for Reno, and if you're trying to find people in here that don't like him, it's going to be really tough to do.
Running out of time. Yes, ma'am.
What everyone assumes is that women who go into prostitution have been abused either physically or emotionally as children. Can you say personally or people that you know, is that true?
My mom's a school teacher. My dad's a police officer. I had a great home life.
I think that's just a stereotype
That's a
of,
stereotype.
oh, the poor little
Yeah.
girl got into this because she was abused. That's maybe, maybe there. Of course, there's girls out there like that, but I mean,
some have
that's
college
just
degrees.
Stereotype of.
I would just like to say in support of how he supports the community, Nevada has a really healthy
financial balance sheet, I think. My husband's a state employee, and he attests they get raises every year.
So there'll be no layoffs here?
I don't know. Well, not for the state, no.
Yes.
I don't think it's that, you were talking about that we're a liberal audience. I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think that we're not touched by it. It's outside of Reno. We're just not involved in it.
So you don't feel either way about it?
No.
No.
I just want to tell these girls that I really respect them and I respect their truth. I wouldn't want to get up here and tell you everything I've done in my life.
For a transcript of today's program, send $3 check or money order to Donahue Transcripts, 1535 Grant Street, Denver, Colorado, 80203, or call 303-831-9000.
Joan Rivers' shocking revelation of a secret fear. How she overcame professional and personal tragedy. Next, Donahue.
Are we? Yes. From the Joe, we're doing business here. You are?
I'm Jim Snyder from KTVN here in Reno, and I would just like to know, get away from the rightness or wrongness of prostitution. Bottom line is Joe Conforte owes $13 million to the IRS. He's back in business. I've been in rooms when he's flashed his wad of cash and gloated about the fact that he's beaten the IRS. I mean, Leona Helmsley did that, and she's in prison, and we celebrate this guy.
No, she's not in prison yet, but how do you respond to this, Joe?
He and I had a fight somewhere, and he's trying to get even.
Good job about that. I like it.
Yes.
No, that's true.
Yes.
Yes, well, I would just like to direct my question to either one of the clients. Do you always pick the same girl?
No.
You didn't always pick the same girl.
I've been with 200 or 300 different ones over the years. Seriously.
Joe Conforte, I think.
Services provided and promotional fees paid by the following.
He's given to the